now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dinny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Dini, and this is Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio. We have a special guest for you guys. Before I go any further, though, this is a pre-recorded episode, and I can't wait to deliver it to your inboxes. And for you guys who subscribe to the show, you'll be the first to know, and I always appreciate that. Well, this is the frequency of the fearless. You know, technology shapes the world we live in, but it's the engineers behind the scenes who design the backbone of how we connect, communicate, and defend. Today's guest has spent over 16 years mastering the art of networking, from data centers to the cloud, from automation to security. His journey spans the United Nations, Amazon Web Services, and now NetApp, where he's pushing the limits of what networks can do. You're not just here for a talk show, and this isn't just radio. This is revival for your mind, body, and spirit. This is Vigilantes Radio Live. My name is Coach Dini, and change is possible. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? All right. Again, welcome to the show. You're listening to VRL. That's Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio, and I am your host, Dini. Our interviews are designed to go beyond the music, news, books, art, acting, films, technology, education, entrepreneurship, entertainment, spirituality, and sometimes even past that thing that we call the ego. Our interviews are designed to go behind the scenes and into the minds of these brilliant people, you know, the ones who are out there giving it their all for me, for you, and for the world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with more than 16 years of global experience and networking, Oluwatosin Oladayo Aramide is a seasoned engineer, innovator, and thought leader. From deploying massive infrastructures at AWS to spearheading experimental R&D at NetApp, his expertise spans automation, lossless networking, and high-performance computing fabrics. A CCIE and multi-center professional, Tosin's work has reduced timelines, solved complex interoperability issues, and advanced the state of networking across industries. His insights on AI, automation, and cyber warfare place him at the forefront of tomorrow's digital battles. So please join me in saying welcome, friend, to Tosin. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely, Tosin. So, before we get into your incredible journey, career, and research, what's been on your mind or inspiring your thoughts in the recent weeks?
What's been on my mind is how much the role of networking is changing because of AI. Like for years, networks were seen as trumping, not important but also invisible. Now with AI, big data, networks have moved to the center of innovation. Like before, network is just seen as a path to move data from one point to the other, but at the moment, you actually need to give a thought to what you're actually building the network for. So yeah, instead of you building the network, or instead of you building a road, for example, you're actually building the road for the kind of vehicle that's going to be using that road, or the kind of instrument that will be going through that road. So you can't train large language models or run high performance storage without thinking about latency, convergence, and lossless traffic. Else, you will be building GPUs, building storage fabrics, but underlying network is not efficient for it. In one of my papers, Edge AI and its impact on resilient AI fabric design, I argue that data locality and distributed intelligence change our baseline assumptions are exactly what I see in practice, focusing on not just bandwidth, but the data minimization, precise if a PC, PFC tuning, and ECN tuning, and predictable congestion behavior. So you have to know the way your network is going to behave before you can build on it. So all this has been in my mind lately, thinking about how AI is changing our field, how AI is going to make our field better, how AI is going to improve how network engineers actually perform in the industry.
Indeed, Tosin's my curiosity, and I don't want to say problem, but I keep seeing the term automation. No matter which industry I tend to cross, it's automate this, automate that, automate this. Hey, this will make your workflow faster if you automate this. And me, I'm technical, but not that technical to understand what automation is. So maybe you could simplify it for me and help me understand like why I know AI is here to stay. I even use AI for the most intricate parts of what I do, from booking to just like sending an email. Those are things I do automate, so I don't have to sit here and type. That's old. That's doing it the old way. We're in a new century now. We're in a new digital age where if you're not using AI or technical based automations, you're behind. You're behind the curve. So maybe you can simplify that for me. How can I understand automation better to maybe even write programs myself that would take care of the nuances of even what I do in everyday life?
Basically, automation is the things you do manually. For example, the way you turn on your PC, enter your password, and open some couple of programs that you want to work with for the day, like your terminal, your web browser, open your Zoom or WhatsApp or iMessage. You can basically just write a script that immediately you turn on your computer and you launch that particular script. It's going to open all those terminal, or open all the software for you, run all the necessary things, and everything keep running waiting for you to act. In my opinion, that amplifies how we work on a day-to-day, and it's not replacing us, it's just helping us to be more efficient. Like people currently say in the industry, AI is not going to take your job, because someone that knows how to use AI is going to take your job. So going from the traditional automation that does things based on what you've told them to do to AI that basically understand you even more than you know yourself. So for example, this is just hypothetical. In the morning when I wake up and my AI sees the time that it's already 7 o'clock, I start my day. So instead of me turning on my computer and launching those, it sees the time, it knows that I've woken up based on one or two activities, parameters that are fed into the AI, into the data set, and it launch all those applications, keep things running for me. So it eliminates things like me launching the script. It eliminates things like me opening my laptop to do that. It just takes over that activity, basically making me more efficient, making me more effective, getting me ready before I'm even ready. So it's going to make our life better. The better we know how to use it, the better we know how to interact with it, the more efficient we get. So I don't see AI going anywhere, but I see AI a leap forward from our traditional automation.
Hey, absolutely.
So
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
I wrote a paper around that 2024. Autonomous network monitoring using LLM and multi-agent systems. Because human basically now need to partner with AI machine at the end of the day. It looks dystopian, but that is what it is at the moment. And the future of engineers will spend less time typing config, typing scripts, and more time formulating policies, validating outcomes, and designing and architecting guardrails around our day-to-day activities.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you for that answer. So let's talk about your journey. What first inspired you to become a network engineer, and were there any early challenges that shaped your path?
Yeah, I originated from Nigeria, and during my secondary school high school days, I was the president of junior engineers in my secondary school. So engineering has been something ingrained into me since early childhood. And while growing up, I had an uncle in the UK, and to make a call to him, you have to go to a phone booth, and it was always fascinating to me how packets moves from Nigeria to the UK. So that got me into engineering, made me study electrical electronics, and at the end of the day, moved to study telecommunication engineering in Italy for my master's degree. So it's just the curiosity of how things work underneath, and just to make things better, which has led me to writing different papers on programmable and data plane for high performance networking. Basically, instead of us using the traditional ASIC that the manufacturer has pre-configured to move back in a certain way. Basically now using something called Intel P4, whereby we program our own ASIC and how to move packets from source to destination, and you can even do trigger analysis on those packets before moving from the source to the destination, be it enforcing some security policies, encryption and decryption on the NIC itself. So all this evolution, technological advancement got me inspired into going into network engineering, and it's basically something that's keeping me in the industry even up until now.
Awesome. So of all the projects you've led, from AWS migrations to NetApp innovations, and I read a few of your papers. I forgot which platform that was, but you had quite a few, and some that you wrote recently this month alone. I think 2 of them. So I read a few of your projects. Which one of these, like AWS migrations to NetApp innovations, which one most changed the way you approach technology today?
Yeah, like I would say about the 16 years, everything has shaped me into the network engineer I am today. So coming from a traditional enterprise network, like when I was working for the United Nations, things are different compared to where you're working at a hyperscaler like Amazon, where you are building data centers up in the range of hundreds of terabytes of traffic, of capacity and traffic moving. And you must build these data centers or do any form of operations in these data centers without affecting customer traffic. So this shaped me into knowing that efficiency is not it's not a trade-off. It is integral to the business. It is integral to the industry. Moving to a company like NetApp, where I'm solely in charge of a cluster fabric that hosts the NetApp controller, that hosts the storage infrastructure. You know that things have to be done differently in terms of high resilience, implement quality of service, and predict different traffic patterns. So it's not just I won't just pick a specific thing. It's a range of ideas picked from different companies, different industries that is shaping me and keep shaping me to get better in what I do. And coming from the academic point of view, I wrote a paper predictive network maintenance and anomaly detection with AI. So it basically introduces how to do network telemetry using AI and machine learning to predict different kind of risk, either from network outage to security risk. And with this is I wrote this in 2007. So basically, it's still shaping me. The current AI trend is still shaping me to become even better network engineer.
Absolutely. Networking often feels invisible until it breaks. What keeps you fascinated with this field? Yeah, what keeps you fascinated with this field after 16 years?
Yeah, I think so. Networking is a very interesting field. Yeah, it's a matter of mathematics. It's a matter of computer science. It's a matter of graph theory. It's a matter of control theory. It's a matter of different protocol design. So you're bringing in different ideas from different groups, from different fields to make something work. So that in itself keeps me fascinated with the field. I'm a lifelong learner. Like, people, I have a family, and I still dedicate a lot of my weekends to reading and studying and developing myself. Like, for example, there's been a lot of discussion around infinite band for machine learning at the moment, with the AI going on, AI buzz going on. The traditional industry-wide standard was Ethernet, which is open source. I wouldn't call it open source, but which is industry approved and what we all use at the moment. But with the advent of Infinite, which is more proprietary to NVIDIA, bringing us to not, there is a new trend coming out, which is ultra Ethernet. So, which unpacks trade-off between raw performance and ecosystem maturity of Ethernet, and gives us good performance inherited from ultra Ethernet, infinite band, so we can get that lossless fabric feel that infinite band gives natively, which was packaged into Ethernet using Rocky V2 or Rocky V1. So things like this, advancement, development, new trends, keeps me going and keeps me fascinated about the industry.
Indeed. And you've worked with RDMA, ROCEV2, and congestion control. Yeah, terms most people never hear, as you just heard. Can you explain why they matter for AI, big data, and cloud services?
So a simple analogy: training an AI model is like filling a massive swimming pool with a fire hose. You want the water to fill fast, evenly, and without spill. RDMA and Rocky V2 are like specialized fire hose, and they bypass traditional overhead, allowing GPUs and servers to talk to each other directly without latency. So, for example, you have two endos that want to talk together in a traditional way. So it goes from the memory to the kernel to the NIC and of the server, and does the same over the network to the client. But with RDMA, which is native to Infinite Band, and Rocky V2, which is bringing RDMA to Ethernet, you are able to achieve that direct memory to memory communication between the client and the server. So this way, the bottleneck of going from the kernel or the CPU or the NIC is directly offloaded, and which reduce latency for us. And in terms of congestion control, it ensures that if thousands of people are, for example, you have thousands of people trying to use a two-lane highway. If all of us are there, we are going to get congested at a point. And important traffic like an ambulance trying to service a patient is also going to be congested, which can obviously lead to something detrimental. So bringing it into AI, they're trying to train a model, but the link is congested. It's going to mess up our training parameters and training data, and something that should take weeks is going to end up taking months or even get corrupted, and you have to start all over again. So this how DLMA will keep it to any congestion control mechanism is highly and very, very important for an AI fabric, a big data fabric, and cloud services.
All right. All right, that makes it easy. Thank you. So you've built custom automation frameworks. What is your philosophy on automation? I know I asked you something about automation at the beginning, but what is your philosophy on automation, and how do you see it redefining networking careers?
Yeah, automation at its times is that it's very integral for any network engineer. Like for example, if you're working with an hyperscaler, it doesn't make sense logging into 1,000 or 2,000 routers per day to issue a command. So that basically the CLI in an hyperscaler is dead. So if you want to push configuration to 1,000 devices, the best way to do it is automating your configuration, which actually takes away the human error in the entire process, and that way you're able to push config to those devices, do your necessary change. Then it gives you the capacity and ability to actually do some pre and post checks, making sure that whatever change you're trying to make, your assumptions are validated before the change, and after the change, your assumptions are going to be validated that traffic is moving in the right direction. So, for example, one of the activities I did was migrating from a 3.2 terabyte fabric to around 12.8 terabyte fabric, and that's good. That's like hundreds of routers involved or hundreds of switches involved, and you expect zero downtime, like literally zero downtime, because you have customers in the cloud that are going to be affected, and that's each second of downtime is a lot of revenue for the company. So those have to do with obviously enhanced planning for the change, enhanced monitoring for the change, and with the advent of AI, this even gives us more capability to enhance our monitoring and enhance our change, making sure that every single packet is properly validated, every single part is properly validated, and you can predict every operation during and after the change. So anyone going into AI, anyone going to networking now or in the future should endeavor to get up to speed with some different automation framework, using Python, using Golang, or using any other level programming language like Rust or C++, or using even already baked network automation framework like Ansible, Noya, and Chef and Puppet.
Yeah.
So I wrote a paper around that, actually, predictive network maintenance and anomaly detection with AI. So if anybody's interested, you can check my Google Scholar to check that.
All right. And I will also include links to your abstracts. So one of your abstract talks about AI as both a weapon and a defense. How should nations or organizations prepare for this paradox?
Yeah, so, well, traditionally, when we're doing, when we're talking about cybersecurity, we assume that the attacker have the exact tool, they have access to the exact tool, the exact security monitoring platform you have, the exact firewall that you have. And trust me, they will have done a lot of stress testing to make sure that either find vulnerabilities or a way to evade different detection by those tools. So bringing that same paradox, that same idea into AI, we expect the different attackers to have the same AI, have access to the same AI, or even better, because they could have trained because of ethics around uh, default AI land language models like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, X Grok. There are ethics around that may not allow them to have access to the default land language models and be able to craft attacks around that. But they may already have their own AI system that they have trained with either ChatGPT or XAI Grok, and so they could have advanced their own training data, their own attack surface training data with their own library using different agents. So assume they have access to those. We should also make sure that our blue team has access to the necessary training data, necessary AI to make sure that any defense can be predicted, any attack can be predicted, and proper defense can be made against attacks coming from the bad actors. So there should be a lot of policies by government around ethical AI usage, and there should be a lot of collaboration between law enforcement agencies and the security team, well, in all industries, all companies and industries. Because national organizations need to prepare by investing in high resilience network and ethical frameworks.
Indeed. So, what's one technical challenge that really tested your skill set, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, like we say it's every day is always a day one. Today, just like an example I just gave about different actors, and a bad actor is not gonna. Bad actors will always have different way to attack you. So how do you make sure that your system is resilient to every single bad actor coming into trying to attack you? So you often need to balance efficiency, balance network resilience, make sure that we have enough capacity, make sure we have enough defense in depth, layers of defense and all that. So I remember once orchestrating a network that requires zero downtime. I had to build different layers from firewalls to the IDS and IPS related for the fabric. So, like, there's a lot of things in play in every single networking project, every single activities that we need to do. So every day is a different challenge, and that's why we call it every day is a day one.
Indeed. You run Level Up IT, publishing technical blogs. Like I said, I found a few and read them. It's a very intricate information. I can really tell that you know exactly what you're talking about and what you're doing as a professional. Why do you believe it's important for engineers to share knowledge openly?
It's something that comes natural to me, and something I believe I've gained from over the period of years that I've been working in the industry. For example, you have technologies like TCP/IP BGP, and all those. Those were designed by some very highly intelligent people in the field. If they have just kept it in a company, nobody's going to know about it. They're going to be using it, but it won't have developed up to how much it has developed at the moment. So sharing knowledge, sharing technologies, sharing ideas, not only help people to develop and know things or understand a particular concept, is also help that particular you that's sharing it or that particular product that you're sharing evolve and get better. So talking about my blog, I, it helps me. The fact that I'm publishing stuff on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, it helps me to learn twice. For example, when I'm trying to develop that particular blog, I'm trying to do a write up, I have to read a lot. I have to lab things in it, validate my assumptions, validate whatever I read, then bring that into writing to disseminate to people in the industry. Then when people start giving feedbacks or commenting, it either validates my assumptions or validates what I've put out there, or challenges my assumptions to go deeper and explain each assumptions that I made and try to clarify whatever thing I've said. So my parents is still going up. Uh, Explain things. If you can explain something to your grandma, then that in a way that she's gonna understand, that means you really understand what you're saying. So it's been a philosophy that I grew up with, and I think it's something that everybody should endeavor to do to develop themselves and to develop the coming generation to keep building a resilient and stable network. Because in the coming years, the current network we have is not going to be efficient. It's not going to be robust enough, especially with the with the advent of AI that we're currently going through, and with the quantum computing that's coming, which is likely going to break all the encryption that we have when it's fully fledged. So learning, sharing is very integral in the industry.
Yes, sir. So, as someone from Nigeria who has studied and worked globally, how do you hope your story inspires future African or international engineers?
I don't want to limit to. So yeah, I studied in Nigeria and moved across the globe. Our engineering, network engineering in particular, is a global field, and you should be able to showcase your skills regardless of where you are or your background. So I'm excited about what I've done. And, I want people to at least learn from things I've done, like from basically like around the papers I've written, around the blogs I've written, to inspire them to develop things and learn more and keep building a network for the future. Because we're going to in the coming years we are going to need terabytes of data centers that can move terabytes of data, and that's not just going to come from a single region. We would want something across the globe that can power the AI fabrics that will be running and making our lives and city better.
Absolutely. So this one I wanted to ask you about personally because many engineers, and I've interviewed a few over the past few years, but most engineers that I know stay behind the scenes. But not you. Not you. Why do you think visibility and storytelling are important for tech professionals today?
I really understand what you're saying with the engineer still behind it. Like I used to be like that. Like we are comfortable in front of our PC, fixing problems, solving problems, identifying problems. But we are very bad at telling the stories of how we fix those problems, how we identify those problems, or how we come up with those solutions. I think a lot of us are under responsibility to either managers or venture capitalists to go and sell those products for us, or product managers to sell those products for us. But one thing I've come to realize is nobody is going to tell your story better than yourself. No matter the product you have developed, no matter the network you've engineered, until you tell people how your design decisions into those products, your design decisions into those network topologies or ideas to put into designing those, architecting those network, nobody's going to tell a story the way you expect, the way it should be told. So we've changed ourselves a lot in the engineering field by giving that responsibility to other professionals. So I think it's time for us to get out there, tell people what we do, let them know that networking is not just a field that is in the background and just running. And especially in the present day, networking is actually very important for everything that is going to be coming with AI related or quantum related. And we should tell people what we do, how we achieve things we do, and how what we do actually impacts everyday life. For example, if you're in an hospital and you're in an A&E, all those computers, all those tools, all those machines are connected through a network. But you are probably going to see the networking team in the basement, making sure that things are running effortlessly. Nobody sees them, nobody tells their story, nobody talk about them. So it's time we start talking and telling people how things we do actually make things run effortlessly without issues.
All right, indeed. You mentioned that you had a family, but also when you step away from researching consoles, what keeps you grounded and keeps your interest in this field, and what keeps sparking your creativity?
What keeps sparking my creativity is first principles. Like, I get myself into different RFCs, even though there are things I'm not currently using in my day-to-day engagement. It's good to get yourself into RFCs, how things were developed, how the thought process was put in place by different technologies you're working with. That way, if problem comes out tomorrow, you can go back to thought process of the developer, and that way you can fix problems and suggest solutions. I go into a lot of RFCs, I go into a lot of packet captures. Creativity for me is often cross-pollination of different ideas. For example, I'm a network engineer. I go into cybersecurity. I go into AI and machine learning. Bring ideas from those different fields, fusion them, and see how they are going to make my network work better. For example, I was discussing with someone, was it 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and we were like, how do you build your fabric for your GPU cluster? And we were like, yeah, we just make it big as enough. And we do. Like, so you don't have any form of quality of service configuration, you're not prioritizing any form of traffic. And like, yeah, we don't have that at the moment. And trust me, this is a company that will consider a unicorn, and they don't have something like that. So I see that they don't have personnel trying to improve the network by bringing ideas from different places to make the network better, function more effectively, and on budget. So
Absolutely.
it's quite important for me dabbling into things, and that keeps me going. The fact that I need to learn different things from different places keeps me going and sparks my creativity.
Absolutely. All right, Tosin, where can our listeners connect with you on the internet? Read more abstracts or blogs and papers that you've wrote, publications, I mean. Where can they check those out as well? And just basically connect with you on the internet?
you can check my LinkedIn. I'm active. I'm quite active on LinkedIn. You can check my Google Scholar. Yeah, that's a pretty updated with a lot of my articles and publications. And you can subscribe to my blog, which is levelupit.xyz. You can read things I'm publishing from day to day. I don't only publish networking topics, I also publish cybersecurity related topics. I probably product and product management topics, how network engineers should see network as a product and not just a password. So yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, Oluwatosin Aramide. I'm on Google Scholar, Oluwatosin Oladayo Aramide. I'm on SearchGate, Oluwatosin Oladayo Aramide.
Absolutely. All right. Today, guys, Oluwatosin gave us a masterclass sort of on the future of networking, automation, and cybersecurity. His journey spans from Nigeria to Ireland, his defining work at AWS and NetApp, and his insights into AI's role in cyber warfare. Tosin, your ability to merge deep technical expertise with global perspective is definitely inspiring, and hopefully that you're inspiring the next generation to do what you do and understand the processes that goes into cloud integrations and the new technology and AI. So listeners, be sure to follow Tosin's work, check out his publications and Level Up IT blog. Stay tuned for his upcoming research. Connect with him on LinkedIn, and I will include those links in the description of this episode and in the show notes. So all you guys have to do is just click the links and reach out. So as always, subscribe to Vigilantes Radio, leave us a rating, share this episode, and you can support our mission over at buymeacoffee.com/Vigilantes Radio. What I do with that is I buy coffee and books because I like to read and sip coffee while I read. You know, look important and smart in places, but not just playing. I just do that in my leisure. Until next time, guys, let's stay connected. Thank you so much, Tosin.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, you too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace to all. My name is Deanie, and I am the host of Vigilantes Radio Live. I think that we are beyond just asking cool questions and getting cool responses. I think that we are here as creatives to provide an example that you can do things different outside of expectations, because some of us simply were not born into the club, but there is perhaps a door, window, or back gate that we can leave a clue for you to get into. Life is short, but there are plenty of moments to try and get it right. Pursuing your dreams and learning from mistakes may be tough, but regret is tougher. To book your interview, email us at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. That's a V as in victorious. Or visit onlyonemediagroup.com. I'm counting on you. Heaven, we all are counting on you to step into your purpose and your passion. You are listening to Vigilantes Radio Live on iHeartRadio, providing you with an opportunity to dive deeper.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com.